So, the first entry to my spooky diary turned out pretty good, and it somewhat got a good reception. Thanks to everyone for the kind words, especially you, Teeny. It's a little shout out. And I take this as a reason to continue on with the Silent Hill franchise. That's a pretty good idea. And if my math is correct, after finishing Silent Hill 1, it is now time to move on to Silent Hill 2. Just like the first game, it was published and produced by Konami and released in 2001 for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, I know it was actually produced by Team Silent, but they are a production company belonging to Konami, so I think it's fair to say that Konami produced it too. Before I bore you too much with the details to the game, let's have a little chat about my past experience with Silent Hill 2 prior to playing it now. And I can make this really short. I have no experience with it. I haven't played it before, and sadly, I don't have a sappy story to tell about this game. What I do know is that the main character's name is James. Or at least I believe it's James. And I also know that he's going to Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his deceased wife. A ghost wife. Yay. And I also know that Pyramid Head made his debut in this game. So I'm excited to see him for the very first time in this game. In this franchise. Sadly, that's all I know about Silent Hill 2. But that's why I'm going to play the game, right? Well, except for having a great time doing so. Hopefully. Now, the first diary entry was good, but not exactly what I hoped for. The videos weren't really structured and felt a little bit too amateur. And because of this, I want to change the content of the videos a bit, just a little bit. In the very first entry, I will not only talk about my past experiences with the game, I will also talk about the first hour of the game, touch a little bit on the gameplay and give you a vague overview of the characters you encounter in the game. In the second video I will go more into detail regarding the characters, the enemies and the story of the game. So let's go! What I can tell you right from the beginning is, this game looks really good. The game is almost 16 years old, if not older, and it still looks amazing. The opening cutscene in which our main character is introduced looks well animated, even though all you see is him staring angstly into a mirror. But from what I saw during my first hour of playing the game, I can say that Konami again stepped up their graphic skills. The environment looks more realistic and smoother, the character models have more detail, and the previous mentioned cutscenes look really good. During the first hour of gameplay I also got a glimpse at the combat system. It seems to be the same as in the first game, you know, you have your wood plank, you have your handgun to defend yourself with. Pretty basic stuff. The controls also seem better, they seem more fluid, and James controls more like a human being than a tank, thankfully. The enemies I've encountered so far look good, they seem more humanoid this time around. There are these acid spitting things that look like melted humans. Or look at those freaky mannequin leg monsters. Ugh. I guess Silent Hill 2 banks more on the disturbance factor instead of the blood and gore factor. But the most important thing I noticed so far is the music and the sound design. As you may know, I'm a little bit of a sucker for that. For example, in the very beginning of the game, there's a part where you are walking through a foggy wood area. And suddenly you begin to hear footsteps behind you without being able to see anyone behind you. There's also the sound of what I think are groaners, you know, these dog demons in the background. But they don't really show up. They don't show up and attack you. It's unsettling, even if you haven't played the first game and know what monster could lurk in the fog behind you or all around you. I love stuff like that. There is this weird scraping sound that you can hear in Silent Hill itself. Yeah, that one gives me goosebumps. But what I really liked are those breathing noises in the third floor of the apartment complex, the Woodside apartment complex. This time around it really seems like the environment is alive. Ugh, I love it. I love it, guys. I really love it.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
The voice acting is okay. It didn't annoy me so far, but also didn't really leave an impression on me. Konami seems to have put a lot of detail into this game again. There are small things like James leaving behind bloody footsteps after walking over a dead monster. There's cryptic writing on the walls, and some randomly placed bodies seem to wear James' clothing. I don't know yet if that's important for the plot, but I guess we're going to find out. I also got to solve the first puzzle in the game, involving a grandfather clock. So far, the basic concept seems to be the same as in the first one. You investigate an area, find the puzzle, investigate the area a bit more, you get an item, you return to the puzzle and solve it. But why should they fix something that isn't broke, right? But what does actually happen in Silent Hill 2? Let me answer that question. As I said previously, the game opens with the introduction of our main character, James Sunderland. James traveled to Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his wife Mary, his deceased wife. So James got this letter from his dead wife where she talks about the special place in Silent Hill and that she's waiting there for him. And that's his whole motivation to go there, to find out if she's really dead. Because I guess he's too stupid to know that dead people can write letters. But okay. So after coming to a roadblock, Harry has to continue his way to Silent Hill on foot, where he runs into a lady on a graveyard. She doesn't introduce herself to James, and he doesn't really seem to care about her, so why should I? Maybe she's the local undertaker or the crazy woman that spends most of the time at the graveyard. I guess she's going to make a return later on in the game. She says something about looking for her mother, but as I said, there is no substance to the meeting, so let's carry on. Harry makes his way into Silent Hill to reach the Waterfront Park, the special place described in Mary's letter. And on his way there he encounters various monsters. And somehow he also seems pretty chill about it. Just like Harry in the first game, he doesn't really care that there are monsters all around Silent Hill. And he eventually ends up in the Woodside apartment complex. Here we meet another character, a little girl that acts like a twat.
Ow! Hey, wait! Damn it.
And we finally get to see the real star of this game. The mysterious Pyramid Head monster. I don't know what the heck he's doing here, but I'm sure it's something bad. And that is pretty much the first hour of gameplay of Silent Hill 2. I don't want to talk about it too much to be too spoilery, and I'm also gonna end the initial entry for Silent Hill 2 here. I think I gave you a good impression on what to expect in the game. So far the game seems to have upped the spook factor, the enemies look way better, James seems like a good main character with his tragic backstory of losing his wife, and the story is enigmatic and interesting enough to keep me playing at least. But how will all of this turn out in the end? Check out the next entry of my spooky diary to find out. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, constructive criticism is always welcome, or maybe even subscribe to the channel to be notified when the next video is out. And that's all folks, bye bye.